Hey everyone, Ploop here. Today I'm back with a big video going over most of the big changes in the new 1.7.3 Cobbleverse. Oh. Well, looks like this video is going to be reviewing all the major changes from the 1.7.30 update. The new update is finally out for both Modern and CurseForge. There's a lot to go through, so let's get right into it. The changelogs start off by explaining the main premise of the patch. Team Galactic bases, new legendary/mythical structures, and 4 new dimensions. We're going to go through all the Galactic bases first. The Valley Windworks is a structure where you can defeat Commander Mars. Her team's average level is level 74. Defeating them will yield the Verity Proof, which we'll use in a cartography table to find Mesprit. The Eternal building is a large 5-story building we'll be able to find filled with trainers and items scattered throughout. At the top, we can encounter Commander Jupiter, which will give us the Acuity Proof for Uxi's location. Jupiter's team will also average to around level 74, just like Mars. The Team Galactic HQ from Veilstone City is here in all its glory. The commander boss here is Saturn. Find him by going through the back left side of the HQ. Defeating him will yield Azov's locator item, the Valor Proof. Saturn holds his team to an average level of 76. I'd also recommend checking out the front side of the HQ as well. There, you'll find 2 valuable items if you want to spawn items for Palkia and Dialga for free. Finally, we'll be able to fight Cyrus going through the bubble elevator here. To fight him, you'll need to fight all 3 of his subordinates. He'll have a tough team with an average level of 87. On your first victory against him, he'll drop the red chain. It's important to note that all these Galactic boss battles will be in a double battle format. Test your skills in the official competitive format Pokemon against these trainers. Once the Galactic team is out of the way, we can head to Spear Pillar using a space-time radar. Follow the map and we'll be faced with a choice between Palkia or Dialga at the space-time altar. You'll need the corresponding orb and the red chain we got from Cyrus. Once you use both, your red chain will break and your legendary choice will appear in place of their statue. We'll also get a spatial or temporal flute based on who we choose to summon. But now that our chain is broken, how do we get another one to summon the other legendary? Let me introduce to you how to get the Lake Guardian Trio. After defeating any of the Galactic commanders, they'll drop a corresponding proof to one of the Lake Trio. Combine these with an empty map and a SINNOH cartography table to find the lakes of Azov, Mesprit, and Uxie. Remember, Acuity is Uxie, Valor is Azov, and Verity is Mesprit. But once you arrive, it won't be the Lake Guardians you'll be greeted by. Upon arrival, there will be a Hisuian Pokemon occupying each lake. Defeat them to obtain the summoning item to spawn the Guardian of the lake you're at. Battle them to have the chance to catch the Lake Guardians and their jewels. This trial to obtain the jewels will be repeatable, so you don't have to go and find another lake. Combine the jewels from each lake trio to recraft the red chain that was broken upon usage. After encountering the legends of space and time, we'll look for a way to find the last legendary of the creation trio. To do that, you'll have to find the structure that holds the portal leading to the Distortion world. This structure is called Turnback Cave, and it can be found using the old journal as a map creation item. Being able to craft this item means finding its 4 components hidden through some book-related areas. I wonder where those could be. Maybe we could find these torn components in some sort of library, or a work desk, or maybe a library, but what do I know? There would definitely be no hidden passages or book-related mechanisms in Cobbleverse, right? After creating the map for Turnback Cave, we'll need to prepare for some encounters inside this Pokemon dungeon. Pokemon will spawn throughout the structure, and there will be vaults for you to loot. When you finally find the portal, you can go ahead and jump in. Wait, before you jump in, let me show you what the Distortion world looks like. Hundreds and hundreds of islands floating in space. Yeah, you're gonna need to find a decent flying Pokemon if you're trying to navigate that. But now, once you've got that in your team, you can go ahead and jump through the portal. Once you've entered, you're going to be sent full speed into your death. Just kidding. Falling into the void in this dimension results in you coming back up. Then you'll die of fall damage. Also, just kidding. There's no fall damage here. But you'll definitely die of boredom if you had to build bridges across these islands, so I just wanted to make sure that you had a flying mount. Our main objective for this dimension is going to be finding Giratina's island in this bleak Distortion world. We can craft a nifty map for Giratina's island by grabbing the components for a Giratina radar and the Giratina cartography table. A component for the radar is Origin Ore. They look like these, and you'll need a furnace to smelt them. Also, mine some extra, since we'll need an origin ingot for later. Bringing a netherite ingot, a dragon gem, and a ghost gem will be useful for making your radar. If you try to make the radar outside of the dimension, it won't do anything. Bring ancient Pokeballs and paper for your cartography table too. In the case you can't make a radar, it's fairly obvious which island Giratina's island is. You'll be able to use your minimap to check for Giratina's island in case you passed it. The island Giratina spawns on is much larger than the others. Once you've found the island for Giratina, we'll dig into this black glass. Then we'll use the red chain to spawn Giratina. Giratina will burst out of the enclosure and you'll be able to fight Giratina here. Just like in previous versions, you can obtain his Greasy's core by defeating the SINNOH champion Cynthia. Now that you've encountered all of the creation trio, you may largely think to visit the god of the Pokemon world himself, Arceus. To traverse to the origin dimension where Arceus awaits us, we'll need an Azure flute. But how do we get that? Remember the flutes that we got spawning in Palkia and Dialga? Also remember the extra origin ingots I said to get? Yeah, all those components are in this recipe to create the Azure flute. Additionally, before heading to Arceus' domain, we'll need to bring all the plates with us. Once you made your Azure flute and got your plates, you can play the flute from anywhere to get a specially made instance of the origin dimension just for you. This is also where we can get the alternative origin forms for Palkia and Dialga. We'll need to defeat Automon and Irida to obtain the special form changing items for Palkia or Dialga. After defeating them, we'll be able to head to the end of the temple structure where we're greeted by 18 altars. You'll need to place the plate for each type here to be able to spawn in Arceus. Prepare well to fight Arceus, as he can generally be tough in single battles. Another thing to note that can hinder preparation is that his typing is randomized when he spawns. This could mean needing to come up with alternatives if your Arceus spawns as a ghost type and will be immune to false swipe. I've also seen him know the move recover every time I've summoned him here. I wouldn't blame you if you ended up using a Master Ball, but a tip I can give you is that you can use the move Soak to remove any immunities he may end up having. Good luck! You don't want to be collecting the plates again if you fail the encounter. After that tiring arc finding the creation trio and God himself, let me walk you through how to encounter the Lunar Duo. First, to find Lunar Legendary Cresselia, we'll need to get lucky and find a Marina's logbook and shipwrecks. After that, we can craft the map that leads us to Crescent Isle. On this isle, you'll find a ship and its owner Elfio inside the house. Defeat Trainer Elfio for a member card, and use that in tandem with a cartography table to find Full Moon Island. Don't forget to search around in the ship and the house. There could be something important in one of these containers. On Full Moon Island, we're met with a grand hotel where we can find Cresselia aiding guests who seek peaceful sleep. To summon Cresselia, we'll need to find 8 dream strings scattered around the hotel. Make sure to check every corner to find the various containers cleverly hidden away by the mod pack creators. If you would like, I can make a proper video guide to show where all the dream string are. I know a lot of people had difficulty finding them, so let me know in the comments if you can't find the dream string. Once we have found all 8, we can craft the dream catcher, which will act as our summoning item for Cresselia. Find the altar of the lunar Pokemon in the attic of the hotel and summon it when you're ready. Along with the opportunity to catch Cresselia, we'll also receive the Moonlight Amulet from Cresselia as well. With this, we're able to find a much more sinister Pokemon that completes the other half of the Lunar Duo. After all that exploration and catching, it's a good time to head to sleep. But unless you're ready, don't go to sleep holding your newly found Moonlight Amulet. You'll be transferred to New Moon Island where Darkrai resides. Each time we do this process, a fresh and untouched island will be generated. This time, to encounter Darkrai, we need to traverse his Tera to find 8 Nightmare Strings. The Nightmare Strings are mainly located in Dark Oak and Spruce Barrels. The spots for the structure were only slightly easier for me to find compared to Full Moon Island. Just like before, if you guys would like to see a video guide for this one, I can definitely make it. We can combine these strings with the Moonlight Amulet we came in with to create the Nightmare Weaver. This item will allow us to encounter Darkrai, where you can choose to defeat it or capture it. Once you do that, you'll escape the nightmare and wake up. If you don't feel ready to encounter Darkrai just yet, you can use a spare lunar wing to escape the nightmare dimension. Finally, after a good night's rest, we can get fired up to find Heatran, the Lava Dome Legendary. Travel to Stark Mountain located in the Nether Oasis using a Heatran radar to find Heatran. You'll face 2 opponents here who will give you the Heat Fragment and the Heat Splinter. We'll need to combine both of these items to make the Magmatic Cluster. Find a Stark Forge to smelt down the Magmatic Cluster into a Magma Stone. Then, use the newly forged Magma Stone to interact with Heatran's altar and summon him. Because the Magma Stone turns back into the Magmatic Cluster, we can keep summoning him as many times as we want as long as we revisit the Stark Forge. No longer the days of randomly finding Manaphy and Phione in the ocean. Manaphy can now only be obtained by finding Manaphy sunken ruins in deep cold oceans. Inside awaits the Manaphy egg, which will take 5 minutes inside a player inventory to hatch. Breed the Manaphy with a Ditto to obtain a Phione egg. To encounter Shaymin, we'll need to obtain Professor Oak's letter. You'll receive this invitation to Flower Paradise once you place the 5 Kanto starter Pokemon in your party. Professor Oak letter will magically appear in your inventory, and then you'll need to find Flower Paradise. Just like some other mythical Pokemon, there are no radars for the structure, and you'll need to get lucky. Flower Paradise can rarely be found in warm oceans, where Shaymin can spawn by interacting with Oak's letter on the altar. You can use 3 Gracidea flowers to recraft Oak's letter and get another summon. Additionally, using a Gracidea flower would change Shaymin's form and would not be consumed on use. Use the Gracidea flower at night to change it back to its land form. After reviewing some Pokemon of the smaller nature, let's go over the updates to the 6 giant legendary Pokemon in this pack. All Regis have had updates and acquisition, primarily Regidrago, Regieleki, and Regigas. All the Regiores will now emit a distinct sound when you're nearby, so it'll be much easier finding them. You can now find Regirock's rock ore in dripstone caves between Y levels 40 to -40. The steel ore for Registeel are no longer in the deep dark and now spawn in the Badlands where rock ores used to spawn between Y levels 0 to -60. The ice ore to summon Regice hasn't shifted biomes, but the spawning range has now been extended from Y levels 125 to -65 in ice adjacent biomes. For the 2 newer Regis, find Dragon Ore for Regidrago in the deep dark from Y levels 0 to -60, and Electron Ore for Regieleki in deserts from Y levels 30 to -90. The Hoenn Giants remain the same in terms of structure locations, but Regidrago and Regieleki now have their own structures as well. Find these 2 at the new Split Decision Temple. You'll have to find the Spark Relic and the Draco Relic from their respective ores to spawn either one of these Regis at their altar. Find the Split Decision Temple using the radar and be prepared to make a choice. This temple holds both the altar for Regieleki and Regidrago, but once you use one, the other is destroyed. This does mean you'll need to find another Split Decision Temple to obtain the Regi you didn't get from the first. After you collected all 5 Regis, then you'll have the opportunity to journey for Regigas. With all 5 of the Regi relics, you can make a radar to find the Regigas temple. Craft the Titan relic to spawn Regigas by using another 5 of the Regi relics. Furthermore, you'll need all 5 elemental giants to successfully spawn Regigas. This means to be able to encounter Regigas, you'll need to find 3 relics per giant, 1 to summon the giant, 1 for the Titan relic, and 1 for the Regigas temple. When you arrive at Snowpoint Temple, put all 5 of the giants in your party and have your Titan relic ready. Once Regigas is summoned using the Titan relic, you can quickly switch all your Pokemon back to your catching squad. Many players have had trouble getting Eternatus in the past, but now we have an official way to capture the gigantic legendary. Yeah, that's what it's called. Anyways, you're tasked with finding Galar particle ores, which can be found everywhere across the caves of the overworld. I suggest finding large open caves that easily reveal the bright pink ores. Fortune also works on this ore as well, so the earlier you can get Fortune for this task, the better. Official sources say to collect 500 Galar particle orbs to hatch Eternatus out of the cocoon it's in. While Eternatus does need 500 particle orbs to summon him, his radar requires 3 Galar particle blocks. Bring our orb goal to 527. Once you collect the 527 particles, head to the end and find the Eternatus cocoon. Use the particles to free Eternatus and prepare well for the fight if you don't want to spend time collecting 527 more orbs. We're gonna finish the legendaries of the update with a walkthrough on summoning the Treasures of Ruin from Scarlet and Violet. All 4 of the ruinous Pokemon are located in the Nether, so we're going to have to head there first. As you explore the Nether for ancient debris and gems, keep an eye out for these glowing stakes. There are 4 different types of stakes: a cyan, purple, orange, and yellow stake. Each of these correlate with a different ruinous legend. Walk up to the stake and right click it to collect it. You'll need to interact with 8 of the same stake to unlock the shrine for that legend. You can find the legend's shrine by crafting the corresponding radars. A component of these radars are the 2 seals in each radar. You can find these in various nether chests like nether fortresses, bastions, or temples. After you collect the 8 stakes of one type, you're going to head to the corresponding shrine with the help of the map created using the radar. When you're ready, interact with the shrine to summon the ruinous legendary right in front of you. With all those legendaries out of the way, let's round out this video with coverage on one of the most requested features yet: raid dens. You can find raid crystals all around the overworld indicated with a beacon beam. The color of the crystal and the beam is a hint to what Tera type the Tera boss will be. There will be a range of raid difficulties from raids level 1 to 7. Upon defeating the boss, you're guaranteed a capture of the Tera boss and will be rewarded loot. The higher level the raid, the more difficult and rare the Pokemon will be. This will also yield higher level loot when you defeat the boss. Raid dens will now be the new premier way to get Tera Shards for your Pokemon's terrestrializations. Take on higher level raids with your friends to earn better Pokemon and rewards. Thanks everyone for watching the video. I hope you extracted some sort of useful information out of this guide. I'd appreciate any sort of like, comment, or sub if this video is worth the wait. It took me a while to get used to this new recording style, getting the clips and editing the video. I also got busy in life with work, so sorry this came out a lot later than I wanted to. With the big video out of the way, I'm going to be working on Yveltal and Xerneas next for my usual guides. I might also be dipping my toes into more general Cobbleverse guides that could include a walkthrough on disabling the blacklist, how to get money in Cobbleverse, and more ideas like that. Let me know if that sounds useful for you guys. Thank you so much everyone for the support, it means a lot to me and I hope you stick around. Anyways, peace out y'all, and I'll see you next time.